Listening to English conversations is one of the best ways to improve our language skills. Every time we hear real-life dialogues, we pick up new vocabulary and get a better sense of how the language is used naturally in everyday situations. In today's episode, we're diving into the world of love and relationships, from understanding what real love means to healing from heartbreak, and discovering how communication and trust build lasting connections. Isabella and Ryan share honest stories and reflections that make this a deep, emotional, and insightful conversation. Let's start.
Hey Ryan, thanks for making time today. I really needed a break and a good chat.
Of course, Isa. Always good to catch up. This place is nice, peaceful, just what I needed too.
You know, I've been thinking a lot lately about relationships, love in particular. It feels like such a loaded word these days.
Tell me about it. It used to seem so simple when we were younger. You meet someone, you click, and bam, love. But now, it's more complicated.
Exactly. I feel like everyone defines love differently. For me, it's deep connection, emotional safety, and growth. Like, you grow with someone, not just exist next to them.
That's beautiful. I guess I see love more like trust built over time. You show up for each other even when things aren't easy. Love isn't just butterflies, it's commitment.
Oh yes, the butterflies are nice, but they don't last forever. It's what comes after them that defines love, right?
Definitely. And I think we've been sold so many unrealistic ideas, like the movies that make it all about passion and drama. But real love is quieter, steadier.
True, it's more about the boring moments, like grocery shopping together or sitting in silence and still feeling content. I used to think love had to be intense. Now I just want something stable.
Stability is underrated. People often confuse excitement with compatibility. But if you can talk, share silence, and be fully yourself with someone, that's rare.
Exactly. I remember someone once asked me, "What does love feel like to you?" And I said, "It feels like home."
That's powerful. Feels like home. I like that. For me, love feels like peace, not pressure. Like I can breathe around the person.
Wow, yes. So many relationships feel suffocating. Too many expectations, too little understanding. But when someone truly gets you, you don't have to explain yourself all the time.
And yet, we've both had relationships where that wasn't the case. You ever think we're just too idealistic?
Maybe, or maybe we've just learned to expect better. After all the lessons, heartbreaks, and growing up, we know what we want.
You're right. I don't regret any of it. Even the hard parts. Every mistake taught me something, even if it hurt.
Me too. And honestly, the older I get, the more I value emotional maturity in love. Like, talk to me when you're calm. Listen even when you disagree. That kind of love.
Totally. Love is in the little things. Asking how their day was. Remembering how they take their coffee. Sending a message just to say, I'm thinking about you.
Yes, it's the consistency, not the grand gestures. I take someone who checks in every day over someone who surprises me once a year with roses.
Same here. You know, I sometimes wonder if we make it too hard. Like, maybe love isn't supposed to be this perfect puzzle. Maybe it's just choosing the same person every day with kindness.
That's beautiful, Ryan. And honestly, I think when two people are emotionally ready, love becomes less dramatic and more secure.
And that's when it really starts to grow. Not in the sparks, but in the quiet loyalty.
So true. So tell me, do you believe in soulmates?
Oof, big question. Honestly, I believe we meet many people we could love deeply. But it takes effort, timing, and willingness to grow together. What about you?
Same here. I used to think there was the one. Now I believe we can choose someone and build something real. It's not fate, it's intention.
Exactly. Real love is a choice, every single day. Not just a feeling that hits you out of nowhere.
Then maybe love is less about finding and more about building.
Yeah, and building something lasting, that's where the magic really is. So, with everything we just said about real love, it makes me wonder, how does that fit in today's world? I mean, dating now is nothing like it used to be.
Oh, tell me about it. It's like everyone's either swiping or ghosting. Relationships have become so transactional.
Exactly. You match, you chat, and within a few messages, you either plan a meetup or disappear. There's barely time to form a real connection.
And even when you do meet, people are often juggling 5 other matches at the same time. It's exhausting. Like you're constantly competing for attention.
I miss the days when you'd meet someone organically, at a bookstore, a coffee shop, through mutual friends. Now it feels like everything's curated, even our personalities.
That's so true. People present the best version of themselves online, and then in person, you're sometimes disappointed. Or they're disappointed because you're not filtered.
And there's this obsession with perfection. If one thing is off, people move on. No patience, no effort to work things out.
It's like people are afraid of vulnerability. They'd rather keep things casual than risk getting hurt. But that means they miss out on real intimacy.
Yeah, we've turned dating into a numbers game. More options, less depth.
Also, social media plays a huge role. Everyone's comparing their relationships to these highlight reels, the perfect couple selfies, surprise gifts, romantic vacations. It creates unrealistic expectations.
Totally. Like if you're not doing Instagram-worthy things, you start questioning your relationship. Why didn't we go on a weekend getaway? Why don't we post about each other? It's toxic.
And the worst part, some couples do it for the likes, not for the love.
Sad but true. I once dated someone who cared more about taking pictures during dates than actually enjoying the time together.
Oh, I've been there. You feel like you're in a relationship with their followers, not with them.
Exactly. And don't even get me started on ghosting. It's become so normal to just vanish without explanation.
Yeah, like basic respect has gone out the window. If someone's not interested, just say it. Why is that so hard?
Maybe because people fear confrontation, or maybe they just don't value others' feelings anymore.
And then there's this whole thing about situationships, where you're stuck in this gray zone with no labels, no clarity, and lots of confusion.
Been there. You act like a couple, but you're not. And when you ask, what are we? It's suddenly too much pressure.
Exactly. People avoid commitment but want all the benefits of a relationship. It's unfair and emotionally draining.
You know what I think? We're so connected digitally, but emotionally, we're more disconnected than ever.
That's deep and sadly accurate. But I still believe genuine connections are possible. They just take more effort now.
Yeah, you have to dig beneath the surface. Take time, be honest, and most of all, be brave enough to care deeply, even when it's scary.
Absolutely. Vulnerability is the key. And I think the right person makes you feel safe enough to open up.
I agree. And when both people are willing to show up, even in this messy modern world, that's where love can really grow.
You know what I've learned? Good communication is everything in a relationship. And I don't just mean talking, I mean really talking.
Yeah, not just the how was your day kind of stuff, but the deeper things, like how you're actually feeling, what's bothering you, what you need.
Exactly. But even that feels hard sometimes. I've been in relationships where I was scared to say what I felt. I didn't want to seem too emotional or too much.
That's the worst, feeling like you have to filter yourself just to keep the peace. I've done that too, kept quiet to avoid arguments, but it just builds up inside.
And then one day, it all explodes. Or you shut down completely.
Yeah, and trust plays a big part in that. If you don't feel safe, you won't open up. And without trust, love becomes fragile.
Totally. And trust isn't just about not cheating. It's about trusting someone with your insecurities, your fears, your flaws.
Right, like, can I show you the messy parts of me and still be accepted? That kind of trust.
Exactly. And emotional baggage makes it harder. We carry scars from past relationships, and sometimes we end up bleeding on people who didn't cut us.
That's such a powerful way to put it. I think a lot of people don't even realize they're doing that. They're acting from old wounds.
Or from fear. Fear of repeating the past. Fear of being hurt again. So they become distant, overly cautious, or even controlling.
I used to be that way. After my last breakup, I started second-guessing everything. Like, am I too available? Did I text back too fast? I was afraid of being too vulnerable.
I get it. I used to overthink every little thing. One slow reply, and my mind would spiral. That's what happens when you've been hurt. You stop trusting your gut.
But healing means learning to trust again. And forgiving yourself, too. We all mess up. We all bring something into our relationships.
Yes, the key is to be aware of your patterns. If you can't talk about your baggage, it controls you. But if you can own it, then you can grow past it.
Absolutely. And it takes the right partner, too. Someone who doesn't use your wounds against you, but helps you feel safe enough to face them.
That kind of person is rare. But when you find them, wow, it changes everything.
It does. They listen without judgment. They don't try to fix you, just hold space for you.
And they communicate, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard.
Yeah, real love shows up in hard conversations, when things are uncomfortable, but you choose to stay and talk it through anyway.
Exactly. Silence doesn't solve anything. It just creates distance.
That's why I've started asking more direct questions in relationships, like, are you okay? Do you feel heard? I don't want to assume anymore.
That's beautiful. I've learned to say things like, I'm not okay, but I don't need fixing. I just need you to listen.
Wow, that's such a mature way to communicate. I love that.
We all want to be understood. That's where real connection begins.
And once you have that foundation, communication, trust, emotional awareness, love has a real chance to thrive.
You know, it's strange how heartbreaks shape us more than the good times. Like, I've learned more from pain than I ever did from being happy.
Same here. I think heartbreak is like fire. It burns, but it also clears space for something new to grow, even though it doesn't feel that way at first.
It feels like the world ends. I remember just lying in bed, unable to eat, think, or even breathe right. Like a part of me had been ripped out.
God, yes. The silence after a breakup is deafening, especially when you were so used to talking to someone every day.
That routine disappears. The good morning texts, the how was your day, suddenly it's all gone. And you're left with this void.
And no one really prepares you for that grief. People think heartbreak is just about sadness, but it's also confusion, guilt, even anger.
Right. You start questioning everything. Was it me? Could I have done more? You replay every conversation in your head.
I used to torture myself with the what ifs, but over time I realized sometimes love just isn't enough.
That's one of the hardest lessons. You can love someone deeply and still not be right for each other. Timing, values, emotional availability, it all matters.
Absolutely. I had a relationship that felt perfect on paper, but emotionally, we were never really aligned. We were both trying so hard to make it work that we didn't notice it was draining us.
I had something similar. It took me a long time to leave, not because I didn't know it was wrong, but because I was afraid to start over.
Yeah, letting go is terrifying, but staying in something that slowly breaks you, that's worse.
And healing isn't linear either. One day you're fine, the next you're crying over an old photo or song.
I used to feel embarrassed for still being sad months later, like I was supposed to move on faster. But emotions don't work on a schedule.
They really don't. And I think society pushes us to act strong and pretend we're okay. But sometimes healing means admitting that you're not.
And surrounding yourself with people who don't rush your process, who let you be messy, who let you grieve.
That support matters, but you also have to do some healing alone. The late night thoughts, the journaling, the tears, That's when growth happens.
It's true. I learned to sit with my pain, not run from it. That's when I discovered parts of myself I didn't even know existed.
Same. I realized I had been abandoning myself in relationships, losing my identity just to keep someone else happy.
That hit me too. It's why now, before I love someone else, I make sure I'm loving myself first.
That's powerful. I think healing teaches us boundaries, what we'll accept, what we won't compromise on, and how to protect our peace.
Exactly. And when you finally heal, you don't go into love desperate. You go in whole, ready to share, not to be saved.
That's real healing. Not waiting for someone to fix you, but becoming the version of yourself you needed during your worst days.
And once you get there, love stops being survival. It becomes something that adds to your life, not something you depend on to feel whole.
That's the kind of love I want now. Not dramatic, not painful, just safe, honest, and mutual.
Same here, and I believe it's possible, especially when you've done the work to become the right partner, not just find one.
You know, after everything, heartbreaks, lessons, healing, I wonder what lasting love really looks like. Not just the idea of forever, but the reality of it.
Yeah, it's not about fairy tales anymore. It's more like waking up every day and choosing each other, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard.
Exactly. It's doing life side by side, the boring parts, the hard parts, the uncertain parts, and still feeling like it's worth it.
And having a shared vision for the future. Like, are we growing in the same direction? Do we want the same things? That matters more than people think.
It does. I used to ignore those conversations. Kids, money, priorities. I'd brush them off. But now I realize if you're not aligned long term, love can't carry it all.
It's not just about chemistry, it's compatibility, commitment, and shared effort. Building a life together takes more than feelings.
You know what I've started to believe? That love is more a verb than a noun. It's what you do, not just what you feel.
Yes, it's in the little daily choices, how you speak to them, how you show up, how you fight fair. That's the real stuff.
And it's not always exciting. Sometimes it's just peaceful. And that's enough. I think we're too addicted to drama sometimes.
We mistake chaos for passion, but honestly, peace is underrated. I want someone I can sit with in silence and still feel deeply connected.
Same here. And I want to be with someone who brings out the best in me, not by changing me, but by supporting who I already am.
That's beautiful. And I think we attract better love when we become better to ourselves. When we heal, we stop chasing love that hurts.
You're right. And when two whole people come together, they don't complete each other, they expand each other.
Exactly. It becomes a partnership, not a rescue mission.
So, do you think lasting love is still possible today with everything we've talked about, the dating apps, distractions, fast-paced life?
I do, but it's rare. It takes emotional maturity, honesty, patience, and most importantly, it takes two people who are ready.
Yeah, readiness is key. Not just wanting love, but being ready to give, to grow, and to stay.
And I think the best relationships aren't always about who you meet. It's about when you meet them.
Timing really is everything. Right person, wrong time, that's a tragedy. But when both timing and effort align, that's magic.
You know, after all of this talk, I feel hopeful. Like maybe, just maybe, love is still worth the risk.
It definitely is. The risk, the effort, the vulnerability, it's all worth it if it leads to something real.
Something that feels like home, like peace.
Yeah, and if nothing else, we've learned how to love better. That's a victory in itself.
True. And who knows? Maybe love will find us when we least expect it, in the middle of an ordinary day, just like this one.
Maybe it already has, in the way we talk, listen, and care. That's love too, in its own way.
That's a lovely thought, Ryan. Thanks for this conversation. It reminded me of what really matters.
Same here, Isa. Here's to love, the real kind.
And now, that's the end of this episode. We hope you found it helpful and inspiring. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. See you next time.